help down here. Can anybody hear me? We found something. We found something. We found something.
12 men have just discovered something. For 100,000 years, it was buried in the snow and ice. Now it has found a place to live. Inside. Where no one can see it, or hear it, or feel it.
I know I'm human. Some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to, but it's vulnerable out in the open. If it takes us over, then it has no more enemies. Nobody left to kill it. And then it's won.
You guys gonna listen to Gary? He can beat one of those things!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Deep Cuts. I'm your host, AJ, and today's guest is Evan Draper, guitarist for the Florida metalcore band Grieve. After 3 years away, the band has been making waves with two killer new releases, their original track, It Followed Me Home, and an incredible cover of Flyleaf's I'm So Sick. But music isn't Evan's only passion. He's also an accomplished filmmaker and served as the cinematographer on the upcoming horror film It Ends, which hits theaters August 21st through Neon. Even more impressive, the film currently holds a 100% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, making it one of the year's most talked about horror releases. Today, we're diving into everything from Grieve's latest music to Evan's work behind the camera, balancing two creative worlds, and what's next for him. Evan, welcome to the show.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. That's a very flattering intro. I appreciate it.
Dude, totally deserve. You totally deserve it, man.
Thank you, man.
And now for the first question that I totally asked, for the first one that I have not asked before. um, you've got one foot in the music world and another in filmmaking. Which one came first for you, and how does the two creative passions influence each other?
Well, honestly, I feel like I have been doing both for as long as I can remember. I picked up a guitar, that my parents bought for me. It was an Ibanez RG in like third or fourth grade. And around the same time, maybe even a little bit before that, I was borrowing my dad's tape camcorder and filming like jackass-esque videos with my friends. Um, and I've kind of stuck with both over the years. I was doing, short films in high school. I was playing in a band and doing covers at like dive bars. Um, and I went to film school. I decided to keep music more as a hobby, but I think I've been really uh, invested in both over the years. Like I produce all our music. I produce for a couple other bands. I mix for a couple bands. But at the same time, like I started doing music videos in college. Um, and I think having the knowledge of like music and being a little bit involved in the music industry has really helped both things flourish. Like I tour with bands and do content at the same time. Like that has allowed me to make friends in those bands and get features for Grieve, coming up and stuff like that. So really it is like both are super intertwined. In the film world, it's a little different because like, it's a little bit separate from that, but I think I've still tried to keep both things very like balanced in my life because, when film gets hard and it feels like work, I can bounce over to, music and work on that. It feels sort of like a release and vice versa.
Mm.
So it's been good to have like both things in my life. I don't really think I could choose one over the other.
Yeah, I'd be curious how that would go. Like if you put like 100% into, like filmmaking or like 100% into
Yeah,
music, like how your future would look for that.
I'd probably go crazy if I did, if I didn't have something to keep as a hobby.
Mhm.
I think it'd be very hard. Honestly, I'm sure, a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you on that. Like I said previous before, I'm a filmmaker myself, and there was one project I worked on. It was years and years, and it burnt me out so bad I was going crazy. And then I discovered like doing hosting radio and doing a podcast, and it made things so much easier, like to talk to other filmmakers, other musicians, and it was a really cool outlet to like you said, bounce back and forth between.
Yeah, it's great. It's really interesting actually seeing how many musicians end up in film. It is like so overlapping. Like the sound guy for Ed Ends, uh, Tony, he's like a big music guy. Tony Ashley, he has music out on Spotify actually. But he did a song and it ended up in the movie. So there's a lot of overlap I find between film and music, which I think is so cool. It's just such a creative field that you're bound to have some people in there who
Mm.
do both.
Yeah, and it's just cool to meet, other artistic people in either fields and just, making friends, keep getting those connections. It's
Yeah. And vice versa, there's people in music who end up working on music videos and stuff. Like I don't know if you know Kingdom of Giants, but
Mhm.
um their vocalist Dana is like a cinematographer and he shoots a lot of music videos out in LA. And
Mm.
I've gotten to work with him a couple times and super cool guy, like really good at both things. So it's so cool to see like the overlap go the other way too.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And with Grieve, especially since you guys came out with It Followed Me Home, what inspired that new song and what does that song mean to you personally?
So uh it's interesting because we haven't really talked a lot about what we're doing next. But that song specifically is part of a story that we're trying to tell with the next few releases. Um, and it's kind of a concept thing. We don't really want to spill too much, but if you look at the lyrical content, it is kind of telling um, a story, but it really is just kind of about like the depths of your own psyche and like running from the other side of like your personalities and trying to push stuff down when you shouldn't and kind of it's exploring the depths of like kind of just mental illness in general, which is something we've always touched on.
Mm,
But this time we really wanted it to come from uh, more of a character perspective and kind of writing about like a story, which we haven't really done too much in the past.
mm.
But this time we're really leaning into it. So a lot of the new stuff is going to come from a similar place.
Oh, I'm excited to see what possible concept would be. That sounds really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll definitely see more of it.
And will more videos like accompany the songs to tell the story?
Yeah. So funny enough, I actually end up doing all of our videos, both because it's cost effective and because we have total control over what we put out that way.
Mm,
So uh, there are going to be more videos. I think we want to do one for every single, but it just depends on how often I can get over to Florida because I'm in LA and the
mm,
rest of the band's in Florida. So we do a lot of stuff remotely. But I've been trying to get over there and do more like content stuff and more music video stuff.
mm.
So yeah, you'll see more of that for sure, and it'll kind of expand on the story that we have going.
Okay. And I'm just curious too. I was trying so hard to go see you guys when you opened up for what was it, Confessions of a Traitor?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to go, but I could not make it to that show. Were you playing at that one?
I was, yeah. So I decided to fly in for that. We got a music video done. It has a really cool feature that a lot of people are not going to see coming, so that'll be very cool. But yeah, I was in town. We got a bunch of content stuff done. I shot like 4 music videos, and we played that
Wow.
show. So it was like nonstop. It was like the busiest week of my life, but it was super cool. And that show was so much fun, dude. It was great.
Man, yeah, I saw so many videos. I wish I could have made it, but
Yeah, you got to catch the next one.
I will. I definitely will. I know, was it in July the next show is?
Yeah, we've got a show July 26th. It's Days of Summer Bradenton. It's hosted by 152. It's got a ton of great bands. That's going to be super fun. Those shows are always great. It's like very thematic. Everyone does fun stuff. There's like beach balls and blow up palm trees and like, you know, Hawaiian shirts, like the whole 9 yards. It's going to be
Right.
super fun.
I'll definitely try my hardest to go to that
Yeah,
one.
come out, everybody, come out.
Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
be so
Anyone
cool.
listening, and if you're nearby, definitely come out.
Yeah, it's at Oscura in Bradenton. Great venue, super fun.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm always going to shows like every weekend. I'm either in like Orlando or Tampa. Like I'm always traveling to shows.
Yeah, dude, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Keep the scene alive.
Yeah. Like I love the scene in Florida. Like it's such a good scene here.
Yeah, it's great. It's especially, I think it's kind of popping off right now. There's so many great bands coming out of Orlando.
Oh yeah.
Like, recently I work with the Dark Divine guys a lot. They
Mhm.
kind of grew up in Orlando. They're great. Not enough space. The homies, they're popping off. They came up out of Orlando.
Yeah.
It's a really great scene, and it's pretty underground, but like the people there are very dedicated. There's some really cool bands coming up out of there right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I try my hardest to see all the locals around here, and I have a few coming up that I'm trying to interview too. But yeah, it's just there's so many cool ones, and
Yeah,
like I moved down here in 2019, so like I'm still trying to like I'm not a Florida resident, Floridian, but I'm still trying to support it.
yeah, dude, honorary Floridian. You got it. I'm not right now, but it's still part of. It's part of my whole life. I still consider it like home base sometimes. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's great. There's a lot of really great people over there.
yeah, and
It's a
like
good scene.
yeah, oh yeah. And filmmaking wise though, like I haven't made a movie since I moved. I'm from Pennsylvania, and
Mm,
I my last project was filmed up there. I haven't made a new one yet down here,
yeah,
but hopefully soon. I want to film something soon, but I actually
yeah.
got to adapt a Stephen King story.
That is so cool. Which one?
Yeah, it was a part of his Skeleton Crew book. It was like a short story. It was his
Yeah,
story, Kane Rose Up.
that's awesome. That's sick.
Yeah,
What's it about? I haven't heard of that.
that one, it was like an older one he wrote in the 70s. It was kind of like a school shooting one in
Oh,
college.
wow.
Like, yeah, like he wrote it like 1972, like before, that was even like a thing.
Wow.
And I chose that one back in 2018, like when, every week you saw it just in the news, like another shooting, another one. And I felt it was
Yeah.
very like a prominent topic, so I chose that one.
Like relevant, even though it came up so early.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm very proud of it. It premiered at a lot of festivals, but when was it? Yeah, like
That's amazing.
2020 it released, so it was online festivals. But even Stephen King watched it himself, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's incredible, dude.
I don't know
Congrats.
if he
I would love
liked
to
it.
see it if you've got a link. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, yeah, I can totally send
So
it over.
cool.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I know he watched it. I don't know if he liked it or not, but he did watch it.
That's still super cool, man.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I'll definitely send you a link over, man.
Yeah, let me see that. That's awesome.
So covering Flyleaf's "I'm So Sick" is a really bold choice because it's such a
Yeah.
beloved song. What made you decide to take on that track?
Oh man, I'm not even sure. It was something we were throwing around for a really long time. Um, and after we parted ways with Scott, the original vocalist, we kind of had a time period where we didn't have someone in mind for vocals. So we were kind of like, let's have Michelle, our bassist, jump on vocals for a track. Um, and we recorded that cover, and then it kind of sat in the archives for a really long time while we were looking for a vocalist. And finally, we just decided, hey, let's have Tommy, the guitarist, kind of step in
Hmm.
because it had been a while, and like, we just wanted to put out more music, and we had so much stuff in the chamber that we were kind of like, let's just say fuck it and have Tommy jump on. Um, so he did, and then we've been recording stuff, and we kind of had, uh, we still had this like in the chamber, but we didn't have it like fully mixed, and I was kind of feeling stuck on the mix. So we finally decided to go to Austin Coop, who former guitarist of Adalia, Prison, like, and he's mixed Citizen. He's worked on Nothing Nowhere. He's worked with Papa Roach. He's worked on all these huge records. And he recently moved out to LA, so we've been hanging out. And I finally was like, let's please work together. Like, I'm such a big fan of your mixing. So,
Mhm.
but he did It Followed Me Home, and we loved that mix so much that we said, dude, let's just send him this I'm So Sick cover and he can knock it out. He sent us the mix like 5 hours later, like
Wow.
after I sent him the stems, and it was like perfect. And we barely changed anything. And we finally put it out, after a year or two of having it recorded. We finally put it out, and we started playing it live. And it was just something we kind of really wanted to take a crack at because I love that song. Michelle loves Flyleaf, and it's just a classic track that we kind of just wanted to put our own spin on, I guess.
Mm.
I wanted to stay very faithful to it while kind of adding some modern production touches that I thought could be really cool. So it's kind of like not exactly a reimagining, but kind of like a fresh coat of paint that I think is really cool. And it's kind of got like the Grievey sound going on.
Right.
So that was kind of the goal. And I think it worked out really well.
Oh yeah, I love it. Like especially what I love in it is like how prominent the bass guitar is in it. I really
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. That was something that actually Austin specifically said, like, I think the bass is really important to the core of this song. And I wanted that to be consistent through this modern mix. And I thought that was such a smart move. And he really nailed it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Michelle absolutely killed the bass tracking for that song, and it just came out so cool. And having like her on live bass and like in the recording just makes it feel so alive. And Austin did a really good job mixing that, and specifically her vocals. I think he did a really good job with.
Mm. Yeah, it really does sound like a nice, fresh take on it.
Yeah, and Flyleaf likes it, so that's cool.
Yeah, they commented. That was
They
really
did. They
cool.
commented. They reposted. Their manager started following, and very cool. We were super like uh really just blown away that they even noticed, let alone like kind of gave it their little stamp of approval, which I think was so cool. So
Yeah.
very very grateful that they even checked it out at all.
Yeah. That's so cool because a lot of bands don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Flyleaf, if you need an opener for that Orlando show, both of them, let us know.
Yeah, hit them up. But now going back to filmmaking, you worked on
Sure.
the upcoming horror film It Ends. Without giving any spoilers away, what was the most memorable or challenging part of bringing that movie to life?
Oh my god, that is such a good question. um Memorable versus challenging is interesting. I might have to give you two answers. I think memorable was, there was one scene where um, I could not stop laughing, like during the shooting of the movie. There's a scene where the characters have been stuck in the car and they're kind of going stir crazy and they kind of get at each other's throats. And it is so funny. And I had a giggle fit, like an actual like giggle fit, and I had to. The camera's on a tripod, thankfully. I had to straight up leave the room. Like I had to get up mid take and walk out of the room while they kept riffing because it was so funny. Um, it was like you have no you have no riz, your breath stinks, and you get no bitches. It was like it was so funny.
That wasn't scripted.
I don't remember. I think it was. The interesting thing about that movie is that a lot of the lines feel like improv, but they're mostly scripted. And even the scenes where they're literally yelling over each other, there's just two blocks of text in the script right next to each other.
Oh wow.
Like two blocks of dialogue where both characters are just rattling off at the same time. So he would have them do it over each other and then have them do it separately to get like clean audio. But I just thought it was really interesting seeing everyone react to it and say like, oh, this feels like super genuine and like well improvised and lived in, but really it was mostly scripted, which is really impressive to me.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Yeah. Oh, I think hardest part was there's a couple of overnight scenes, and I had personally never done an overnight, which I makes me sound green, but it just had never happened that way before. So we had two overnight shoots on the third round specifically, and my God, it was kind of rough, man. I think it was just a matter of like not having like the manpower to light the woods at night
Mm.
in a way that felt real, and naturalistic. Um, so that was probably, and I remember like seeing the sun come up and just feeling like I was in a dream. It was so weird. And going to bed at like 8 a.m. That was a hard night. I think that scene came out really cool, but like that was probably the hardest day for me.
Mm.
Was that
I,
overnight?
I gotcha. Yeah, I've done one overnight and it sucks. It
Yeah,
sucks.
it's rough, especially because um, I'd mentioned the LED wall and shooting on that wall. The third round, we had some trouble with it because they had updated it to basically work better for global shutter cameras and kind of not work for rolling shutter cameras. Like
Mm.
the uh, the red helium that we were using, the helium 8K, was a rolling shutter camera, um, where it paints the image line by line on the sensor, pixel by pixel, line by line, versus a global shutter like the red Komodo 6K, for example, which takes the whole image at once, every
Okay.
frame, like on the whole sensor. And so the wall had been calibrated for those red Komodos. So we had to pull one off of the jib that they had in the studio and borrow it basically because we weren't allocated that camera. Um, and we had to shoot with that camera from then on in the studio, which basically we had to re-rig it, figure out what was wrong, and troubleshoot it. So we ended up losing one of our days, which
Mm.
was really hard. And we lost a scout day because of that. And due to losing that scout day, we kind of fell behind on our overnights. And it's just a cascading effect of like each day getting harder and harder because of that one issue.
Mm.
So it just goes to show that like even if you plan super meticulously, it can kind of fall apart at a moment's notice. But thankfully, we had a kick-ass AC, Katie, who was incredible and basically saved the production by being able to rig the camera properly at a moment's notice. So
Mm.
shout out Katie, killed it. If you need a DP in Atlanta, she's the goat. Just quick shout out. But yeah, it just goes to show like, how difficult it can be. Um, and it really was kind of like by the skin of our teeth.
Yeah, man, like I can't even imagine like the feeling of that.
Yeah. And, luckily, Alex, Carey, and Evan Barber, the producers and director, were so, um, they were able to adapt really quickly and kind of, you know, figure it out on the day at a moment's notice. They were on it. So they pivoted, and very effectively managed to squeeze everything into that schedule, even though we basically lost a day.
Mm.
So they really pulled through with that and made it happen, which is,
Right.
kind of the story of the whole movies. They really made it happen. The
Hmm.
whole crew obviously had a huge part in making this happen and putting everything together. But, that core team is what made it so special. And they made sure everyone was looked after. They didn't let anyone feel like they weren't being treated fairly. It really was like super accommodating the whole time. They made sure everybody was taken care of. And you couldn't ask for a better core team.
Nice. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
And It Ends has already received incredible early praise. Like said, right now currently holds 100%. What was your reaction when you saw those reviews coming in?
I was, part of me was not surprised. Um, I mean, obviously, we were like, wow, this is amazing. And we're so happy and incredibly grateful. But I kind of think Alex is just one of those directors who just gets it. And I knew that working with him the first time. He is different from the people I've worked with before. He just kind of has this vision that is very rare. You kind of see it with people like, these young directors who grew up on the internet, like Kane, who directed Backrooms, is a good example. Like, he just gets it. He just has this vision, and when you let it shine, they're able to just do great things. Like he is a good example. Like I think Alex is just one of those directors gets it
Hmm.
And when I saw the praise roll in, I was kind of like, yep. you know, and he obviously he's very humble and he won't let anyone tell him this, you know, but I think he's just kind of a genius, you know. So I mean, obviously, like we were incredibly stoked and so grateful that it was being received well, and it was really just kind of a dream unfolding
Mm.
before us. That you know, who would have thought that it would get this far? The theater
Mm.
announcement too is just one more step of just absolutely insane things that have come from being part of this movie, and I could not be more stoked for everyone involved.
And do you think after the theater, after it comes out in August, possible like Blu-ray or DVD?
That would be really cool. I think they should. I think it just depends on how it performs, you know. So go see it.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone, please.
Yeah, if
Please.
it's in your city, go check it out. It would
Yeah.
mean the world to us.
Yeah, please support cinema.
Totally.
So, horror movies and heavy music seem to go hand in hand. Are there any movies or directors that have influenced your filmmaking or possibly your music?
That's a good question. You mean like filmmakers who have influenced the music?
Yeah,
Oh, that's a cool question.
just
I
your
don't
art,
know.
your art in
Yeah,
general.
yeah. Honestly, I like film is a huge part of my life, but I think what has influenced the music more is like video games.
Okay.
Um, Specifically, I was a huge Sonic kid. Um, and especially in the band, the music that I write for other bands, I write for a band called Playing with Knives out of Orlando and a band called Risk Averse out of Tampa. And if you check them out, you can hear the Sonic influence, like you can totally hear it. In my own music, it just equates to like for Grieve, it equates to just fast, heavy stuff. Um, you know, I'm a big fan of like Halo, those games. Like It Followed Me Home is a direct reference to a chapter in Halo 3.
Oh,
When the flood crashes on Earth, that's the name of the chapter at the beginning of Floodgate.
that's awesome.
Um, so that's where that came from. Um,
That's awesome.
Directors that have influenced my work. Um, I'm a huge fan of Whiplash. The movie Whiplash, I think, is a really cool example of like kind of that gritty, harsh, like naturalistic light um, that I kind of lean towards. Ex Machina is a good example.
Mm.
Um, Obviously, like Deacons, like Blade Runner, like that stuff. The new Dune movies; those are great. Um, I'm a big fan of like specifically when a movie has night scenes. I really love them to be kind of more realistic to what you'd see in real life. Nope is a good example. They did a lot of cool infrared day for night
Yeah, that looked
where
really good.
it looks so real. Like the nighttime scenes, it really does look like what you would see in pitch darkness at night. It's super
Mm.
cool. Like the sky is still lit up, it's just much darker. Like, but you can still kind of make out the sky versus the ground. But that's the kind of thing where, like, when I'm shooting and on set, I did this where I really like nighttime to feel super dark. And I think this was imparted on me by one of my professors at Ringling, CJ Julian. He was kind of the guy to put it in my head that, like, it should be very dark. And
Mm.
he's a colorist, so he would always like crush the footage, in post. But that was kind of the idea, was like to shoot it bright enough that it would read on the sensor and then crush it later.
Hmm.
Because you don't want it to be super noisy. So like Alex would come up to me and be like, "This scene's really bright." And I would just roll the f-stop way down and be like, "This is what you're gonna get." And he would be like, "Okay," you know. But yeah, like movies like that kind of influence like how I like to shoot and color. And there's the grittier side of things with like I would say Whiplash is a good example of like the scrappiness. I think It Follows is a good example.
Oh yeah.
Coherence is a great example. Like just how to do it kind of in a, a scrappy way that still feels like cool and like you're watching a movie.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Would you say those are your top four, your letterbox top four?
Ooh, if I had to give you a top, oh, I have a list. I wrote this down. My top four is really funny and nothing like what I shoot. Hold on. This might be in no particular order,
Mm.
but I would say like top four is like number one is The Incredibles,
Oh,
the
okay.
Pixar film.
I respect
That's
that. I love
my
it.
fun answer. That's my favorite movie, man. I love that movie. It's perfect. Number two, Back to the Future. My dad showed me that. I love that movie. It's just such a feel
The
good
first
movie.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second one's also great. I love the third one, even though it's kind of a black sheep, you know.
I love
Number
three.
three, greatest action movie of all time, The Matrix.
Okay.
It's a favorite of mine. And number four, I would say is Whiplash, because I think it's a really cool, really fun movie, even though it's kind of hard to watch. I consider it one of J.K. Simmons' best performances. I think he's
Oh yeah.
great.
He's
And
amazing.
and it put Miles Teller on the map, and I think he did a great job.
Yeah.
Cool movie. Also, really interesting story of how it went to Sundance as a short and did so well that they made the feature, and then it did really well at Sundance again as a
Y-
feature. Super cool story of how that movie got made.
Yeah. And crazy how that's a Blumhouse movie too.
That is nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I remember
crazy.
Jason Blum came to our school and talked about the movies that he was working on. And he talked about Whiplash specifically, and that is a crazy pull for that studio.
Yeah, because like you when you think Blumhouse, you think of horror movies, and then they actually have a few like Oscar nominated films, and it's
They do. They can
crazy.
kind of do it, you know. I think their philosophy is to stay small and do really well in the box office and make up, 10 times what they shot
Yeah,
it for. And that's smart. It is really smart. It does mean you have to take a lot of risks.
yeah,
And it doesn't always hit, but when it does, they do a really good job.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like their past few horror movies maybe haven't hit as well, but they
Sure.
still kill at the box office.
Yeah, definitely.
But I figured I'll just give you my letterbox top four and
Oh,
see
please. Yes,
our
please
different
do.
tastes.
Yeah.
Number one is Twister.
Oh, it's so good.
I love that movie, dude. I love it.
So
Uh,
good.
Number two, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh my God. It's so great. It's a great movie.
I could talk about that
Holds
movie
up.
for
It
hours.
absolutely holds up.
Three, Tron Legacy.
Cool. Cool, man. Yes. I
It
like it.
like that's just a badass movie. Like you can't go like
It
Daft Punk
is.
soundtrack. Oh my god.
I think one of the most aesthetically successful movies I've ever seen.
Hmm.
It just nailed what it was going for.
Yeah, better than Tron Ares. Ugh. That
Don't get me
garbage.
started, man.
That
Don't get me
garbage.
started. I was so mad.
First 5 minutes of movie, I was rolling my eyes. Like,
I
ugh.
That chase scene was one of the worst cinematic sequences I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's a
I was laughing
conversation
at
for
it.
yeah, that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my god. Like everyone's praising the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack, and that did not fit at all.
I like his work. It was not up
Yeah.
there for me. Yeah.
Like one of my favorite soundtracks is A Social Network, and that like it just
Yes.
I don't know what Trent and Atticus were doing, but it did
Yeah.
not fit.
I think he did a great job on he worked on like half of the soundtrack for Pixar's Soul.
Yeah.
Great job on that. I think with Tron Ares, maybe he went a little out of pocket with it.
Yeah. Yeah. But 5 minutes in that movie, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be garbage.
Ugh.
And then my last in the top four is Doctor Sleep.
I haven't seen that one.
I love it. Like, The Shining is The Shining, but
Yeah.
Doctor Sleep, it's a great sequel. The book I wasn't a fan of, but Mike
Mhm.
Flanagan did a good job at changing enough things to still make it an actual sequel, and I love it.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I'll
I
have to check
love.
it out.
I highly yeah. There's a director's cut. I recommend that version.
Oh, amazing. I
It's
did I did love The Thing. I love that that's on your
yeah.
list.
Oh, it
And I only watched it recently. Same with
really.
Twister, actually. I hadn't seen Twister up until recently, and I thought it was like just a disaster movie. I did not realize that it was like so much fun.
Right?
That movie's so fun.
And then
and the
just Van
vibes are
Halen in
so
the
good.
soundtrack too. Just
Yeah, I did not know that. I had no idea. That's
that
awesome.
yeah, that one's like a childhood movie. I love that since I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm a huge Van Halen fan. I'm gonna have to go back with that in mind and check it out again.
Oh yeah,
I
that
love that
song.
movie is infinitely rewatchable.
It is, and just Bill Paxton too. Just what a guy.
Yes, absolutely. The whole cast is great. Yeah. It was funny. We were, I think, on round two of the movie. There was a day where we all just sat and watched Twister.
I love
Because
that.
it's one of Barber, the producer, it's one of his favorite movies. And I remember watching it and I pissed him off so bad because I didn't get it. And I was like, what is this? What
What
are they
is
doing?
this?
What's happening? And he was so mad. He was like, Draper, you shut your mouth. You're so uncultured. And then when I got home, I finally sat down and watched it with fresh eyes, and I was like, I get it.
I get it now.
I get it.
Yeah, I love to hear that. I love to hear
Yeah.
it. But yeah, the thing, yeah, it's just the thing's awesome.
Incredible. And I love I mean, some of the best practical effects in a horror movie, I think. It
It
holds up so
holds up
well.
so well.
And the tone is, it definitely reminds me of like the original Alien in the best way because it's
Yeah,
got that like that isolated, like, impending doom
yeah,
that just,
claustrophobic.
oh, so yeah, very much so. And it just sticks with you.
Yeah,
And it's so cool.
like just even the sound design and the music, it works so
Very,
well.
yeah, very much so. Yeah, masterpiece.
But all right, yeah, back on topic. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I'm
No,
so
dude,
sorry.
that was great.
I could talk about, just film like all day. Like I'm
Yeah,
sure
tell me
we'll
about it,
probably
man.
be talking more after.
I hope so, dude. Yeah, totally.
So, as a guitarist, how has your playing evolved since Grieve first started? Are there any musicians who continue to inspire you today that help your playing?
That's a good question. Um, I think when I first started out, I was I was writing a lot of like gent. um, and I wasn't super into like hardcore or deathcore or anything like that. And Grief, when I joined, was kind of like a sworn in tribute in a way.
Oh, really?
Like the original musicians were very inspired by that kind of thing. And I had never listened to them. And I still haven't. But I was listening to a lot of like Periphery, and The Contortionist is a huge inspiration. Um, Between the Buried and Me, uh, bands like that, Animals as Leaders, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and I joined Grieve and I started writing like what basically like if you described deathcore to a prog kid who'd never heard it, like that was what I was writing. Like, we had singles like Erase Me and I Love Myself and My Beautiful Life back then on like the first EP that I was a part of, um, which was Empty Like Me was the name of that EP. And the title track is literally a gent song. Like, so you listen to that record and you hear like the prog elements for sure. Um, but the main thing was like I wanted it to have groove despite being heavy. Like I don't really love like the caveman riff like deathcore, but I much prefer like heavy stuff that still makes you like want to dance a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, and I think Gent does a good job of like capturing that groove. Or like the big thing that those bands do is like they have a super chaotic riff come in with crazy drums. And then the drums, especially like if you listen to Periphery, like Matt Halpern, he will then like switch it up to just like a 4/4 groove where the kick pattern still matches the guitars, but he's switched to a more basic thing on the cymbals and the snare where the groove just kicks in. So the crazy riff is still happening, but the groove comes back and you can still dance to it.
Mm.
And I think nowadays I'm very inspired by like Loathe, Boundaries, the bands that are kind of bringing back like melodic stuff in heavy music. So like they can whip out the nastiest breakdown you've ever heard, but they can still sing, you know?
Right.
And I think that's kind of where we're trying to go is we're trying to do stuff that's like more inspired by the new wave of like modern metalcore. Not necessarily like the Octane stuff, but more of the outside edge that's a little more nostalgic and vibey and
Hmm.
dirty and messy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Loathe, Boundaries, Static Dress,
Oh,
um,
Static Dress is so good.
they're great. Like, but also, I love hardcore bands like Drain. Um, that's a good one for me. Like Knocked Loose is a good influence. Even Turnstile, like I think Turnstile does some cool stuff. Like,
Yeah.
but in terms of like they'll have a cool song and then it'll turn into like a new wave song with like flute in the background. Like I love shit like that. So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're trying to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Like you said, like the Octane stuff, like I think there's some good bands on there, but then at the end it just feels a lot of like radio rock anymore on Octane.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
like I don't want to like I'm probably gonna cut some of this out. I don't want to have
Sure. That's
haters,
fine.
but like there's some bands like I'm gonna say it, Bad Omens, just
I
like
was that's what came to mind.
like I like some songs and the rest is just radio. Like
Yeah.
Motionless in White, like they got heavy shit, but then they got their soft radio stuff.
Yeah.
And like I hate saying that because they're actually from my hometown in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like I know some of the members, but it's like they're really loving that radio spotlight
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well, but then Bring Me the Horizon will come back and put out a deathcore song, and people lose their minds. Like people lose their shit.
Yeah,
So like I think it's coming back. I think the deathcore sound is coming back, and I think
I
that's really
hope so.
cool.
I
I
really
think
hope
people
so.
are people are getting more accustomed to heavy music, and it's kind of having its moment, which I think is
Yeah.
really cool. There's a lot of really great up and coming bands that deserve to be heard because they're doing something fresh and cool.
Hmm.
Um, and I am particularly inspired by that, and I want to do that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, like
So
low static dress. Yeah, like they're all great examples.
yeah, and It Followed is the most like old Grieve that we're gonna sound from here on out, and the new stuff is gonna be pretty different in a way that I think is very cool. And there's some songs that straight up make me cry that we have coming out. So I'm definitely very excited to put out some more stuff and see what people think.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'll be listening day one. I'll be there.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate you.
And now, this is a total hypothetical question, but
Yeah.
if you had, a great budget and complete creative freedom, what would your dream project look like?
Like musically, like video, what do you
Yeah, like
like?
filmmaking, like
Oh yeah. I don't know, dude. I used to be more of like a writer and director, but I really tend to shy away from that kind of thing now.
mm,
Um, I think if I could work on anything, I would love to make something like hard sci-fi.
okay.
Like something where it's in a spaceship, they go to alien worlds. I just want to shoot some stuff I've never gotten to shoot before.
Okay.
I love experimenting with that kind of thing. I love doing like tons of wacky lighting setups. Like, doing music videos, we kind of have to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just want to do more of that just on a bigger scale. Um, Either that or just something sci-fi, like either that or like some kind of Stranger Things, like colorful, like 80s, 70s vibe kind of thing.
Hmm.
If I had unlimited budget, it would be, Alexa 65, the biggest grip kit you've ever seen in your life, like the biggest lights, like the blimps overhead, like 20 blimps. It would be crazy. And I would just be sitting in Video Village and I wouldn't hold the camera.
I hire other people to do that.
Yeah. I never get to do that. I'm usually holding the camera. So
Mhm.
when I get the chance to just look at a monitor, it's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I'm that one that sounds like an awesome project. Just hard sci-fi aliens. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I need
And
some aliens.
and yeah, I'm the same. I directed my project, but I also did cinematography, camera op. Like I did a
Yeah.
lot myself.
Yeah,
Like
I
for
feel that.
budget reasons. Like I was still, coming out of high school, so like I had no money. So
Yeah.
like I would totally do the same. Yeah, I would just sit behind a monitor.
Yeah. That's why I'm so grateful to like work with bands that, are on, indie labels, and like they have some money to throw towards a music video, and it's just such a cool space to like just try something out.
Mm,
Like I love to sit with a song and think about, what am I seeing? Like what is the vision? What's the vibe? Like how do you make this stand out? And what cool things can you get away with? You know,
right.
like if you're gonna have a video with the car, like we just did a video for Macari. And if you're gonna have a video with like a cool vintage car, like how do you light it in a way that hasn't been done before? Like how do you incorporate it into the vibe of the whole song? And it's not just like a car video. Like there's a million videos that are just like guy in a car. And it's like, how do you make it stand out? And like, what are you seeing that's different? I
Mm,
guess is something that I think about a lot. So like, I'll just sit there playing the song just on repeat and just like write out like the colors and the vibe. And like, is it, what's the aspect ratio even? That's, super important.
mm.
So yeah.
Now, between touring with bands, recording music, and working on films, how do you stay creative without burning yourself out?
Uh, I guess, I mean, the easiest answer for me is like stay hungry and like don't get, like, don't be satisfied with your own work. I never am. And it's kind of a curse, but I think it's also a blessing to be able to look at your work and say, this was good, but like, how can it be better? Like,
Mm,
how can, like, how can I like this more?
mhm.
Um, and one example is just like the last year, um, I went on 6 tours, and by
Wow.
the last one, I was like burnt out. I was really burnt out. I was kind of just running through the motions, and I was, delivering exactly what they wanted. But for me, I was kind of like, I'm a little bored. Um, and I saw some work that, Alex Bemis was doing, Spirit Box. This guy, he's working for Evanescence right now. Um, and Jared Knocked Loose's photographer, and Pierce the Veil's photographer. And all these people were doing really cool work, especially Pierce the Veil's guy. He was doing videos that were like, really cinematic, like looked really vintage, and they were all about the fans
Mm,
and the experience of being at the show. And it was literally like they Pierce the Veil would post photos and it would just be shots of their fans. They had a whole recap that was just the fans running up the hill to get to the front row. Like it was beautiful. And I thought to myself, like, if I don't produce something like this soon, I'm gonna want to quit, you know?
wow.
So I went out with Capstan in February and March for one of their headliner tours, and they let me do like 4x3 black and white, like doc style recaps, where it was like documenting the setup and the fans showing up and the shows, and it was just this super like, and it was for like one of their older records, so it was like really post hardcore, like it just worked.
Mhm.
um and it really fit their vibe, and I thought it was super cool, and it really like kind of sparked something within me, and it was just a complete shift in style that I thought was really cool, and it was really inspired by the people that I look up to and their work. And I think that's like how you stay uh, fresh and you don't burn out, is you just try new stuff and you look at other people's work, and you don't treat it like competition, obviously, but you look at it and you say, what do I like about this, and why do I like it, and
Mm,
how can I incorporate some of that in a way that makes my work feel fresh again and fun to work on.
mm.
um, and it has made a huge difference, I think.
That's a really good way of thinking.
Yeah. And even if I don't do every tour like black and white, I did figure out that I like shooting horizontal way more.
Mm,
And I'm probably going to stick with that because a lot of it was like I'm shooting vertical, and it feels corny sometimes, but that's what social media craves. But I found out if you shoot like 4x3 and just crop vertical from there, it still
mm.
works like perfectly fine, and you can do both. So that's what I've started doing.
Huh. I'll definitely have to look at those tour recaps that you were doing.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
have to
send
look
you
at
one.
that.
I'll send you one.
Cool.
You can throw it in if you like want to include some of that in the edit or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
You're
I'll
totally
make reels of stuff and I'll yeah,
yeah,
I'll put it in.
cool.
So for Grieve, I know you talked about, the album before, but I'll cut that out and
Sure, sure,
I'll ask this as like a new question.
sure.
What's next for Grieve and for you as a filmmaker? Is there anything fans should be excited about over for the next year?
Filming wise, I don't really have like, a movie booked or anything like that. I am available as a DP if anyone wants to reach out. But music wise, we have a lot of cool stuff in the chamber, ready to rock, that we're really excited to start putting out. We can't talk too much about it, but we definitely have more stuff coming. It's heavy, it's sad, um, and I think it is definitely like my favorite stuff that I've written. It's taken years, like three, it will be like 4 years by the time it's all out into the world. But we're really excited about it. We have collaborated more on this than anything before. Like Tommy, our new vocalist, is absolutely ripping it. Michelle, the bassist, is writing tons of lyrics and vocals, and I feel like we're really just like meshing more as a band, and it's been really fun to kind of collaborate a little more because before it was very like I would write an instrumental and Scott would write lyrics,
Mhm.
and we'd learn it as a band, and that would kind of be it. But now it's very much like I've had to learn to let go of stuff and say, if we don't like it, let's change it. Like I don't want to be the one calling all the shots. I don't want to write all the lyrics because I suck at writing lyrics. Um, but it's been really cool to kind of like have uh, more of a group effort going.
Mm.
And I think it really shows in the music. I think it sounds uh, very different, but also more developed than our other stuff. And I'm really proud of it.
Mm. And I will say, as a fan myself, I think even just the new single, like "It Followed Me Home," like it definitely sounds like your guys' best work yet. Like it
Thank you.
really comes through.
Thank you. I attribute a lot of how it sounds to Austin Coop, the greatest producer, engineer in the world, and my good friend. So shout out Austin.
Shout out
Um,
Austin.
he did a great job, and his work rips, and he's the goat. But obviously, we worked our asses off making something that could be delivered to him in a way that he can, make it sound good. So it's got to sound good from our hands into his too.
Mm,
And I'm really proud of what we've done so far, and I'm excited to put it all out there and see what people think.
sweet. And hopefully, hopefully we get to work on something together sometime,
Yeah, dude.
filmmaking wise. Because like I'm doing
Anytime,
a
man.
short in this summer. I'm filming myself, but I'm thinking sometime next year I might be doing a feature. I don't know, but I'll let you know if just in case.
Let's do it, man.
Hell yeah,
Absolutely.
hell yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
sick.
As of now, it's like a vampire thing, but
Oh,
we'll
cool.
see, we'll
That's
see.
dope. I'm into that.
But
Very
I got
sick.
I got one more question.
Cool.
For anyone listening who's trying to build a creative career but feels discouraged or unsure if they're good enough, what advice would you give them?
Um, I always say that this is kind of an Adventure Time quote, I guess, but like sucking at something is the first step to being kind of good at something. Um, and I call it the shit eating phase, where you feel like your work sucks and you know you're never going to get good at something. But the key to being really good, I think, is and not that I'm at that point. No one is like if you approach things like you're going to be amazing right off the bat, it's going to hurt. Um, treat it like just practice. Like, go shoot a show, go take photos at a local venue. Like, it doesn't have to be like you can use your phone. It doesn't have to be good equipment. Like it obviously helps, but you don't have to start out at that point. Like see if you even enjoy the process
Hmm.
even a little bit. But just have fun. Like don't treat it like work. Don't treat it like you have to be the best. Just go enjoy yourself and create art for the sake of making art. Like make a short film, write a song, take some photos at a park of your friend or your partner or whatever. Just go do it. And you can't like worry about what it's going to be like at the finish line if you don't start. So just like do it,
Yeah.
and worry about like getting good at it later. Like see if you even enjoy the process first, because like as an artist, like we have this need to do something, like to fulfill our creative urges, so
Mm.
like whether it's music or video or whatever, like the reason that I jump around so much is because I just feel like I have to do something. Like I have to create something and put my ideas out there somehow, or else I'm going to explode. So if you feel that too, then just go do it.
Well, thank you so much for that advice. And if anyone listening, just go do it. Whatever
Yeah,
creative outlet you want to do, just go do it.
exactly.
And to you, Evan, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope I didn't take up too much of your time, but
Not at all, man. Thanks for
I
having me. It was super
yeah,
fun.
I had a great time. I really appreciate you answering my questions, whether they were good or bad. I
No, they're great, dude. It was awesome. Super cool. I never get to do this. It was fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not really. I've done it a couple times. This is great though. Thank you, man. Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
yeah, of course. I'm glad this worked out.
Yeah, me too.
But
Worked out great. Awesome, man. Well, take it easy, dude. Thanks for having me.
yeah, of course. Thank you. Yeah, you have a good night, man.
Thanks, you too, dude.
All
See
right.
ya.
See ya. Well, hello everyone. This is AJ, and thank you so much for listening to this interview. I had a great time talking with Evan, and the part that's coming up right now is actually from when we first hopped on the Zoom call. There was so much that we talked about that didn't really go in with the interview. So this is kind of just like a little bit of bonus content. Nothing really like, crazy, but if you stick around and listen, I really appreciate it. I had a really great time talking with them. So here you go. Here's some more bonus content for you. But again, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Happy to chat.
Yeah, and it happened randomly. Like I saw like I've been a fan of Grieve for a while, and
That's really funny, dude. That's crazy.
and then I saw, I don't remember if it was the main one or like maybe you shared on like a story or something, but that you were saying that you were a part of It Ends, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
wow. I was like, I didn't know that. So I thought that would be really cool to talk about.
yeah. Did you see it?
I did, yeah.
Did you see it on Letterboxd or at a fest?
Letterboxd, yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Thank you, dude.
Well, like I just
Thanks.
saw
That was
like the like a quick teaser and like I didn't know what it was about, so the story really shocked me.
dude, yeah, it is. I remember I was the director of photography for specifically there were 3 rounds of shooting,
Mm,
and I was the DP for the second and third rounds of shooting. The original DP being a woman named Jazliana Jones,
okay.
who is a fantastic DP. But they brought me on for rounds 2 and 3, and I remember Alex sat me down, the director, in his apartment, and he would like bring random people into his apartment and show them the movie. But I was a friend of his we'd met at a festival, um, and he showed me the movie, and I remember just being like having no idea what it was about, and just being completely like shocked and blown away when I watched it, especially that first scene where it kind of really kicks off like the horror aspect.
Yeah.
I remember just sitting there in shock and being completely hooked for the rest of the movie. It was very cool. And that was like before we had even done, the subsequent rounds of shooting. Like he just had like the first cut from the first like, 21 days or whatever they did.
Right. And I won't
So,
I don't have to include this in this, but like
sure.
this is just me asking, but like what
Yeah.
parts did you come in and shoot?
Yeah. So it was kind of, I guess the opportunity was sort of like they had a little bit more money, and they managed to like gather up some of that to go back out and fix some stuff, to basically do pickups, which is where you reshoot
Yeah.
some stuff because you think like maybe this particular key scene could be better. You could introduce some new concepts or something like that.
Mhm.
So we went and reshot probably like half the movie.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, it was like I think a 12-day, or it was either 9 or 12 days for rounds 2 and 3. It was like one or the other for both.
Mm.
Um, and we reshot like some of the stuff in the middle. Like there was like the fight scene where they kind of wrestle the keys away from each other.
Mm.
We reshot that. There was a lot of extra stuff. I remember round 3 a lot better because round 2 was like, 3 years ago at this point.
Oh wow.
Um,
I didn't know it
yeah,
was that
I
long
mean,
ago.
yeah, each round was like 1 year apart. So the first round was like probably 4 years ago, and then round 2 was like 3 years, and then round 3 was another year later. But it was made over 3 years, like of shooting, which is crazy. And the script
Mm.
was written in like 2020, 2021, like during COVID,
Right.
because he was just determined to like write this movie and shoot a movie with his friends. And we had no idea where it would go, of course, but I
Hmm.
mean, look at where it's gone. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, right.
Um, but I remember in round 3 specifically, we went back and did a lot of those scenes that we did in round 2 again. And I think it was just having trouble with some of those scenes. Like we reshot the scene where Tyler leaves, spoilers, but where Tyler like exits the vehicle and decides he's done. Like we reshot that, I think in round 2. There was extra stuff that we did in round 3 to supplement that. Um, the fight scene was shot 3 times total.
Oh wow.
Um, and there's a lot of extra stuff. We did some extra shooting for the attack scene at the beginning, like I think they called them like trailer shots where the scale is kind of bigger.
Yeah.
In the original cut, the people in the woods, they didn't run, they actually walked. Um, and I don't remember the reasoning behind that, but when it was in the cut, it was like, oh, this isn't really working. They're not
Hmm.
scary enough. So we shot a bunch of footage of them like sprinting at the car. Um, and then that scene where they stop and one more person hits the car.
Hmm.
That was actually one of the producers, Carrie, ran at the car. The other producer too, you can see his face when all the people are attacking the car. He's like, "Help me!" Um, but yeah, we shot a lot of stuff. Um, so I would say, I don't know if it's like 50-50 between like round 1 and rounds 2 and 3. Maybe like 60-40 was new stuff. But yeah, we reshot a lot of stuff, and interestingly, like multiple scenes were shot like 2 or 3 times until
Wow.
we finally felt like it was like solid.
Right. Wow. That's incredible. Like just watching it, like you really like you can't tell obviously because that's the whole point. You can't tell that's been reshot like that, but
Yeah,
to think that the people running would have just been walking, yeah, that would be a totally different
yeah,
movie than right
yeah.
there.
There is the moment that it switches back to the old footage is when they hit that wall of trees at the beginning,
Uh-huh.
and you can visibly see that like they have like different haircuts and the lighting changes, and I thought that was pretty funny. I think most people don't notice that,
Yeah.
but for me that's like a lot of that first scene was done in round 3. Like the opening we reshot, we called it rat scene because that's when they talk about the 10,000 rats.
Right.
um, and then when they turn around, that was called U-turn, and then they hit the wall of trees. So that stuff I shot.
Okay.
And then when they hit the wall of trees, that's when it switches to like a combination of my footage and Jazliana's footage.
Okay.
But mostly it was just trying to like replicate the vibe that she had established and that they had established early on. We had the same gaffer,
Mm.
Chris, who was super helpful, absolutely on it pretty much the whole time. And
Mm.
he had this whole crazy setup on the LED stage, like the LED wall, where he had like tons of lights going, these big moving fixtures. He built a giant windmill to simulate the sun passing through the trees. He was
Mm.
absolutely on it the whole time. He was a huge help. It was really easy to go to him and just say, like, hey, we need this adjustment and this kind of vibe, and he would just knock it out. He was great.
Right. Yeah, I was curious
But
about how
yeah,
the those driving scenes were done, but I guess nowadays a lot of it's LED walls or
sure, yeah, or green screen,
Mhm.
because it would be pretty, I would say, impossible to to shoot all of that for real.
Right.
Um, for us, at least, with the money that we had available. But what was really cool was that we were using. I mean, a lot of the people who worked on the film, not myself, but a lot of the original people who worked on it, were from FSU Film School. So
Okay.
they were like either graduates or we had some students work on it too, which was really helpful.
Hmm.
Um, but they were basically willing to lend us. They have an alumni package, which is where they kind of give you a camera or two that's available to alumni of the film school to work on their own projects, right?
Hmm.
And they have an alumni package of lights and stuff like that. And they basically said, if you guys can help us figure out how to use this LED wall, we'll let you use it for free.
Oh, wow.
Um, and it was set up in this old studio. It was a recording studio for the Allman Brothers band.
Really?
So that's where the LED wall was. And basically, over the course of 3 years, it got more and more refined. And by the end, it was like totally set up. They had people working at the school. Particularly, they had a woman named LB Bunch, who was like I don't know the exact title, but she was kind of like our tech for the
Hmm.
wall, and she was helping us with it. Um, and that was kind of how it went. So we got to use that studio. It didn't have like a proper bay garage door. It just had like a double door because it wasn't a soundstage. It was like a recording studio. So they basically had to like cut the Jeep that they were using in half to get it onto the stage. Um,
Wow.
and then they had to reassemble it so it could basically be taken apart. They took off the whole engine bay, they took out the front windshield, and it was basically stripped down completely. It was put on like rolling carts so it could be rotated freely.
Hmm.
And that was what we had on the stage. They had another car that was the picture car for the scenes in the woods when they were driving or
Hmm.
getting out of the car and all that.
Right.
I would say it was pretty much 50-50 for like shooting on the stage versus shooting on location.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, I was very curious about that. And you said like FSU students helped out. Was it filmed in Florida?
Yeah, so the whole thing was filmed between, I believe, Tallahassee and Gainesville.
Okay.
So a lot of it was at the school, like at their stage, and some stuff was on location, like the dead end. Um, there were two like dead ends that were used for the beginning and the end of the film.
Hmm.
Um, it's another spoiler. I
Yeah,
don't
some
know
of
if you're
this
gonna
I'll
cut around
probably
some of this.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll cut around
Um,
some of this.
yeah, but there were a couple spots out in Tallahassee that we used. It was like this back roads area where they like first turn onto the road. And then there was Alito State Park in Gainesville, which is where you see like those long stretches of driving, like
Mm.
when they're actually driving and when you see them get out of the car, a lot of that stuff was in Gainesville. And
Okay.
that was like a collaboration with the Parks Association in Florida and our team.
That's so cool. Yeah, because I live in Florida. I'm in St. Augustine,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was watching this, and a random comment came in. I'm like, this is just the typical experience at the Ocala National Park.
Straight up. Yeah. It was close to that. Yeah, actually. It is very much like that.
I'm like, you just get
And
lost there.
yeah, and we were all, they were all FSU students. I went to Ringling College in Sarasota.
Mm.
And I met Alex out in Sedona, Arizona at a festival, ironically, like all the way across the country. Um, and we both ended up in LA and we kind of kept in touch. And that was how, Alex knew I was a DP. And when he needed someone to kind of like take that position,
Mm.
um, he hit me up and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. He was like, we can't pay you much. I was like, I don't care. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, let's do it. You know?
Yeah, I'm so excited to see it in theaters. Like, cause I just saw it from I just cast it from my phone on my projector, but like seeing it
Yeah,
in a theater would be so cool.
it is such a different experience. I've had the opportunity to see it a couple times in theaters.
Hmm.
There was one at South by, which was the premiere. It premiered at South by in
Hmm.
March of 25, which was so cool. And it was so interesting seeing it play in front of an actual audience. It was so
Hmm.
cool. Um, and the sound design is incredible. Especially, we had another screening in LA. There was like a friends and family screening in a private theater,
Hmm.
and Alex went back and like cranked the volume, and it was so cool. And it when it's really loud, it's great. It was really loud at South by too, probably like a little bit too loud, but it was so cool. It really does make a huge difference seeing it in that environment, and also having the people around to react with you and see what jokes land and what
Right.
jokes don't land. It's so interesting, like because they might crack up at a line that I didn't think was very funny, but they won't laugh at the stuff that I personally found really funny, which I think is so interesting.
Right. Yeah, and everyone listening, please go see it, go support it, go support cinema. Like we need it right now.
Yeah, it's coming out in August. August 21st, I believe, is the premiere date. So check your local theaters and see where it's at.
And was that South by, is that when Neon picked it up or
So it was kind of interesting. It didn't really get picked up from South by. It kept going to festivals and it kept doing really well. It went to, Fantasia. I think it won Best New Director at Fantasia. I'd have to double check that. Um, it went to Atlanta. It won an award at Atlanta. It won an award at the Florida Film Festival. So it just kept doing really well. And eventually, Letterboxd, who I think saw that it was doing really well, it was like the number 4 horror movie of 2025 on Letterboxd when they checked those rankings,
Mhm.
just based purely on review score from festivals. So it was doing really well, and they basically approached the team and said, "Hey, we really like this. We want to put it on our rental store because we're coming out with this Letterboxd rental store where we're going to put some classic movies that didn't get the praise that we think it deserved. We're going to put some like underground hits, and we're going to put some unreleased festival cuts, right? And ours was included in that. It was kind of like the first one that they put on there
Mhm.
for viewing from festivals. So I think that was in December.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about
Yeah.
right.
So that gave a lot of people the opportunity to see it, and it did really well on that platform, and it got pretty good reviews from the audiences and stuff. So I think Neon saw that, and they were also really interested in Alex's next movie, which they're working on right now. It's called 4x4.
Mm.
Um, and they kind of saw It Ends doing really well, and they kind of saw Alex doing really well. So I think they finally decided to pick it up. They had looked at it a few times and passed on it a few times,
Oh
which is
wow.
interesting. And they were kind of like, it's not really for us, but we do really like it, and we want to help you with your next movie.
Hmm.
But I think eventually they kind of said, okay, we should grab
Right.
it. So they did, which is
Does-
super cool, and we're really thankful for the people over at Neon for being so cool.
yeah, they just grabbed the Alex double feature there. Like
It seems that way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, like I was really shocked by it and I'm glad it's doing really well
Thanks, man.
and I was curious too about the whole festival thing because I'm a filmmaker too myself, and
Yeah,
like I really follow along with the whole festival circuit, see what's doing well. And I remember that one getting like huge rave when it was going through the circuit,
yeah.
and like I saw people that I follow like really raving about it. And one of the big ones too was like Barbara Crampton was like a
Mm,
huge fan, and I thought that was pretty cool. So
yeah,
I was glad that Letterboxd gave that chance to people who didn't go to festivals to see it.
exactly. Yeah, it was really cool, and it was interesting because we thought we kind of had an in with TIFF,
Mm,
um, Toronto International,
mm,
because Neon was kind of aiming for that specific, not Neon, sorry, Snoot, the production company that gave us our post budget and our third reshoot budget, right,
mm.
or the second reshoot budget. Um, they had an in with TIFF, and they were like, "We're gunning for this one. We're going to submit to Sundance and a bunch of other festivals, and we'll see what happens. But we think TIFF is where you have a good shot." And we didn't get into TIFF. And I remember I met the programmer of like the midnight like horror block at TIFF, and I was being introduced by another DP at the festival, and he said, "Evan shot a horror movie." Guy was like, "Oh, which one?" And I said, "It Ends." And he was like, "I loved It Ends." Um, I actually, saw it and decided that you guys deserved a more prime slot at a festival like South by versus like a midnight slot at TIFF. And I thought that was really interesting. So it was like cool to kind of get behind the curtain on like the festival blocks and the judging and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But it was cool that he liked the movie and you know, even though he shot it down for TIFF, it was cool that it ended up at South by because I think South by is kind of a more eclectic and weird festival. So
Right.
it's kind of cool to end up there and have like more of a prime slot, I think. And it ended up being a big hit at that festival, which is really cool.
Mm. Yeah, that's so cool. I'm again, everyone listening, please go support, please. And I kind of went off my own schedule here. I had a whole thing planned, but I just kept going with questions. So,
Oh, you're good, dude.
but I'll try to get back on track if that's cool. I'll do a little
Yeah, of
intro,
course.
introduce you
Yeah, of
in.
course. Totally.
Like all that, I'll probably add like at the end of like the bonus, like a bonus part of the interview. But yeah,
Cool.
I'll do an intro, introduce you in, and we can go from there if that's
All
cool.
right, sweet. Yeah, it's totally fine.
All right.